So one of my clients just recently reminded me about a conversation that we had about a month and a half ago. It was right before the Super Bowl. And I think you might relate to this because she does what a lot of people do, what a lot of my clients do, and something that I coach them not to do, I urge them not to do because it can oftentimes sabotage momentum and it can often sabotage results. So I wanted to share this story with you because if this is something that you do, you're definitely going to want to work your way out of not doing it because it could be hurting you from reaching your goals. So, what a lot of really successful athletes do, and I related this to football because it was the Super Bowl. It was the week of the Super Bowl, and I was having this conversation with a lot of my clients that week because oftentimes what we do when we're doing really good and we have a moment of weakness and we give into that weakness. Um, More specifically, a moment of dietary weakness. Like you want to eat something that you know you shouldn't eat, and you're going back and forth with yourself, and you just decide to eat it. Now, what most people will do, and maybe I shouldn't say most people, but what a lot of people will do that will oftentimes throw them off is they'll feel bad about it. They'll beat themselves up about it and they'll dig themselves into a hole that's really difficult to get out. And then that one instance of doing something that they probably shouldn't have done leads into days and weeks. And I've seen people spiral into months off of one instance of doing something that they should not have done. Um, and I was talking to my client and most clients during that week, and I relate a lot of things to sports. And I said, the most successful athletes, the best athletes, are not the ones that never make mistakes. It's the ones that make a mistake and they immediately put it behind them, they dust themselves off, and they get ready for the next play. It's that wide receiver that is wide open and the quarterback throws in the ball and the ball hits him in the hands or it hits him in the chest and they drop it. It's the big game, it's the Super Bowl. Now, the average athlete would let that get to him. And that one dropped pass would be haunting them the whole game to the point where it would affect their performance the whole rest of the night. Whereas the really successful athletes, the top of the top, that ball comes and it hits them right in the hands and they turn to run before they've really caught the ball, and before you know it the ball is from their hands and onto the turf. Those athletes immediately put that play behind them and they get ready for the next play, and they perform even better for the rest of the game. That's how you have to approach these moments of weakness. I always tell my clients, it's not the clients that are successful are not the ones that never make mistakes, but they are the ones that don't dwell on the mistakes. They're the ones that make mistakes and they put it behind them immediately and they move on. So if you've given into temptation, if you've gotten to the point where you didn't want to go do a workout and you chose not to go do that workout and then you felt bad about it, don't feel bad about it. You didn't do it. You can't go back and undo it. You can't do it again. There's no do-overs. The only thing you can do is move forward from that point. And if you do that and you don't allow yourself to spiral out of control into a pity party, you can get back on track, and really not even get back on track, because if you had one bad meal, let's say Thursday for lunch, and then Thursday for your afternoon snack or Thursday for dinner, you're back on, you're still right on track. But if that Thursday for lunch turns into you feeling bad for yourself and you feeling bad about the mistake that you made and you turning that into Thursday lunch, Thursday dinner, you're still feeling bad about yourself, Friday, Saturday, by Sunday, you're finally starting to climb your way out of it. And I'm gonna start on Monday. And we all know how the whole start on Monday thing happens. you're going to have a much harder time reaching your goals if you take that approach than if you take the approach of, it's done. I can't undo it. Only thing I can do is learn from it and move on. And if you do that, your success or your chances of being successful are going to be much greater than if you took the other approach. So if you've taken the other approach, I would highly urge you to consider no longer doing that, because that approach is probably one of the things that has stopped you from reaching your goals in the past, but it doesn't have to stop you from reaching your goals in the future. So if you've ever experienced that where you've messed up and you've beat yourself up for it for days, weeks, and maybe even sometimes months, comment below and share your stories with others so, we can kind of keep the conversation going and encourage each other to no longer do that. And if you need help on your journey, click the first link below in the description, fill out the form, and the two of us will figure out what we need to do to get you from where you're at to where you want to be.